I couldn't contain myself and handed the jewelry to the doctor in charge of the ultrasound. This is yet another story of disloyalty that leaves anyone perplexed about situations that happen out there. So, be sure to subscribe to the channel. The only confidant in this story is my longtime friend, and I ended up allowing this to happen for a number of reasons, all of which I will reveal now. I hope you listen carefully to understand every detail. Well, my name is Sophie. I'm 27 years old, and I've been married to David, who is 32, for 5 years. David is a manufacturing engineer, and recently, we decided to take a step forward and have a child. We live in the city of Greenville, South Carolina. With this intention, we share intimate moments, and to be honest, I've always liked to go out and enjoy life. If you know what I mean. But until then, I had never broken my fidelity to my husband. We spent months trying to conceive, and I even doubted David's ability to be a father. He was determined to explore other methods, and I, of course, would be open to it too. With that in mind, we had a great time together, traveled and followed all the medical advice with the sole goal of becoming parents. Until one month, I took a regular pregnancy test and the result was positive. Little did I know that I would face changes in my mood and desires. It was all very bizarre. Suddenly, David no longer saw me in the same way. We fell into a meaningless routine. I longed for his presence every night, but unfortunately, that was not what he wanted. In other words, that embryo inside me seemed to generate a feeling of aversion in him, and I did not know how to deal with it. I needed to rekindle his interest, but nothing seemed to work. Until one exam day would change everything. It was the day of the ultrasound, and I was ready to have it. Then I saw a doctor who fascinated me with his wisdom and attractive appearance. I remained composed, but in that room, a different air could be felt. It seemed that Dr. Ian sensed my vulnerability and need for attention, something that was hard to ignore. The exam room was chilly, with sterile white walls and lighting that, though soft, should have been impersonal. Yet in that moment, it seemed to vibrate with an almost tangible tension. This ultrasound, which should have been an emotional moment, became a turning point. I lay there with the cold gel on my belly, while Dr. Ian gently ran the machine over my skin. His eyes fixed on the screen were impeccable professionalism, but there was a magnetism in his posture that I couldn't ignore. Maybe it was the way he moved with confidence and ease, or maybe it was the fact that I was seeking the attention my husband was no longer giving me from someone else. After an uncomfortably long silence, he showed me the image of the baby, the tiny heart beating vigorously, and a wave of feelings flooded through me. But instead of pure happiness, I felt an emptiness. The emptiness of not having David by my side like I imagined he should be. At the same time, something inside me stirred a hidden longing, an urge I could barely control. "Congratulations, Sophie. Everything is going well," he said with a warm smile as he wiped the gel from my belly. But that smile seemed to hide a silent connection, one I knew was shared, even if hidden beneath his medical facade. "Thank you, doctor," I replied, my voice trembling slightly. "It's my duty, but I'm glad you're comfortable. Pregnancy can be an emotionally challenging time." He smiled back, trying to hide the whirlwind of emotions. "Yes, it has been challenging," I murmured as I left the room, my heart racing, but not for the baby. My mind kept replaying every feature of Dr. Ian's face, the sweetness of his words. David had been emotionally absent for weeks, almost a shadow in our home, and I was desperate for a sign of connection, a gesture that would make me feel alive again. The days that followed were a combination of anxiety and longing. I made excuses to return to the office and see him again. I didn't know if it was just a brief flirtation or something deeper. But what I did know was that, at that moment, I was willing to find out. A month later, the day for my next appointment arrived. It was just a routine checkup, but my heart was pounding, as if I were headed for something much more meaningful. The office was quiet when I arrived, and the familiar atmosphere felt more welcoming than ever. The receptionist greeted me with a smile, but my mind was racing, anticipating the reunion with the doctor who had unintentionally awakened something in me. When I entered the examination room, there he was, Dr. Ian, with his immaculate lab coat, His attentive eyes and that smile that had previously affected me so much. The place was the same, but now it carried a charge of tension, as if something was about to unfold. "How are you feeling, Sophie?" he asked politely as he prepared the ultrasound equipment. I took a deep breath, trying to appear calm, but I knew my face betrayed my emotions. "I'm fine," I lied, "but it's been complicated." He paused and looked at me as if he truly understood the depth of what I was feeling. "Pregnancy is a complex time, both physically and emotionally. If you need to talk, I'm here to help." His words disarmed me in an unexpected way. It wasn't just the doctor talking, but a person who seemed to care. As the ultrasound continued, I stared at the screen, but my mind was far away, wondering whether to give in to that impulse. "Everything is normal, Sophie," Dr. Ian commented, interrupting my reverie. The baby was healthy and developing well. I smiled, but my words could barely form. I was lost in that tension between what was right and what was wrong, between my feelings and what I knew I should do. When the exam was over, I stood up and adjusted my clothes, ready to leave, but something made me hesitate. "Do you think I'm exaggerating by feeling all this? This emptiness I feel?" I asked. He looked at me with a gravity I had never shown before, and I waited for his reaction, looking into his eyes. Suddenly, the doctor showed me an extraordinarily large instrument. I couldn't resist and finally gave in, letting me undress and touch that 24-centimeter tool. I was so happy. That room, which had seemed spacious before, now felt too intimate, and the appointments were interrupted for 20 minutes. After this episode, the nurse who was assisting him asked to come in, and he allowed her. To my surprise, she also got involved in an incredible moment. It seemed like she was already aware of the situation. We spent another 20 minutes there. I was only 3 months pregnant, so my belly hadn't grown much yet. When we said goodbye, I promised him that I would come back more often. My marriage is definitely over. My husband no longer shows any interest in me. In the meantime, I have the doctor's contact information to bring me joy. So, what did you think of Sophie's story? Leave your comment below.